What is up, everybody? We're gonna do a cool video today because we're gonna do some comparison contrasting with 3 power stations that I have here in front of me. If you guys are new to the channel, what I do here is I work at this van building shop that is behind me right now, Nomadic Customs. So I show you some day-to-day vlogs of me hanging out here, doing the thing at Nomadic Customs. I also do a lot of camping, a lot of traveling, getting into building, which is actually what this hat is. It is the Built by Touch. I have done building in the past, but I really want to focus this next year on building, so I'm getting a lot more into that. Want to get way more into design and other things, but I also, big, huge passion of mine, I love to show off other people's builds, creativity, other companies that are doing really cool things in the industry of either small space design, whether it's container home building, tiny home building, van building, yurts, whatever. I like to just show that off on this channel as well. But let's get into what's going on right here in this video, which is comparison and contrasting of these 3 power stations. Let's do it. First and foremost, I am wearing a Blockbuster sweatshirt. For people of my age, maybe a little bit even younger than me, know all about this company, and just a shout out to them. Officially, by the time this video comes out, officially, the last Blockbuster has closed. And it is a sad day, and it's unfortunate. The store out in Bend, Oregon officially closed on, I believe, Halloween. This sweatshirt actually came from them. I actually watched the documentary and I bought the sweatshirt from that store way back when I actually lived in Bend, Oregon, and I actually went there, and it was an amazing experience. But anyways, thank you to DJI. I always say DJI, and it sounds like a G, but it's DJI. Thank you to them because they are sponsoring this video, so I appreciate them and everything that they do. I actually use pretty much all of their products for everything that I do. Use this power station. This is the one of the ones that we are comparing today. It is the DJI Power 1000. They also offer a 500 as well. But I use this one. I actually love this one, and I'll get into that. But I also use their Action Pro. This is actually the 4, but I really want to get my hands on the Action 5. Believe it or not, I actually do all my tours now with this guy right here, the Osmo Pocket. Thing's pretty rad. So I love all DJI products. I use them all. This is the whole creator bundle that I went out and bought. Hey guys, maybe hook me up with some camera gear instead of the power station. I'm just kidding, I love you guys. On this side of me, I have the EcoFlow Delta 2. And then on this side, I have the Jackery, I believe it is the Jackery Pro 2, because it's the 1500 watts. So let's kind of dive into all these. Now, I have not memorized, sadly, I have not memorized everything that I should memorize. So I have a cheat sheet of all of the configurations on here, and then we're gonna actually dive into them. So the DJI 1000 is coming in at 13 kilograms, which is about 28 pounds. And the EcoFlow Delta 2 is at 12 kilograms, so a little bit lighter, 26 pounds, give or take. I'm rounding, everybody. And the lightest one is actually the Jackery, and that comes in at 11 kilograms, so it's about 24 pounds, give or take. Obviously, those weights are pretty light. I can pick this up very easily. Capacity-wise, we're talking 1,024 watt hours, 1,024 watt hours, 1,070 watt hours, slightly bigger. The operating temperature, they're all the same. So minus 10 degrees to 45 degrees Celsius, which is about 14 degrees to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. And they all use the same battery, which is a lithium iron phosphate, or LFP. Input and output, we're gonna have to actually, I'm gonna actually show kind of the input and outputs of them, and then I'm also going to show why I would pick one over the other for like usage, whether it's daily use or how I would be using it, or maybe other applications. I'm going to talk that in a little bit. Max solar input, I think that's super important. The DJI 1000 is 400 watts, and that's times 2, so technically 800 watts. 2 400 watt solar panels, that's massive, by the way. The Delta 2 is 500 watts, and that's 500 watts flat. There's not times 2 there. So 800, 500, and this one, and the Jackery is 400 watts. If I was out camping, right, and I was in my truck, like my Ford Ranger Raptor, which if rooftop tent or tent camping or whatever, if I was out camping, the only way to really recharge this is having enough solar, and having portable solar is really nice to have when you're out camping. In a previous video, I talked about like solar on vans, and they're kind of obsolete. Now, if you're out camping or if you're using this as backup power, I think having portable solar and one of these is almost essential. Now, they call it recharging from the grid or powering it from a 120 or 110 volt amperage, or you know, pretty much a wall outlet, everybody. This can recharge in 70 minutes. This can recharge in 80 minutes. And the Jackery can recharge in 100 minutes, but it says 60 minutes on emergency mode. Don't know what that means, but 60 minutes in emergency mode, 100 minutes, whatever. They say the fastest charge with the solar panels, this is 1.35 hours. That makes sense because there's more solar going into it. Duh. This says it's 4 hours, and the Jackery is saying 3 hours, which I find interesting because you can only put 400 watts of solar into this. However, it's 3 hours, yet you can do 4 hours into this and it's 500 watts. So that is interesting numbers to me, but it is what it is. Charging method, obviously, solar power, car power, or grid power. You can charge, I believe, all three of these the same way. And what they mean by that is car power is into a cigarette lighter port or a 12 volt plug that is in your car. So while you're driving, you can plug it in and you can actually recharge it. It's not directly off the alternator, it is from that port. So it's a little bit less of a voltage. It's going to take a little while. Now, this next category I find really interesting. They call it a charging noise. To some, that might not be a thing, but to me, when you plug it in and you like hear the buzzing, or you hear it charging, or you hear whatever it is, it can get kind of annoying if you're in your apartment or you're in your house and you kind of hear it, or maybe it might upset your animal. I don't know. It just could get annoying. The DJI is at 23 decibels, which is pretty darn low. They don't give a number on the EcoFlow Delta 2. And the Jackery Pro is at 22 decibels. So they're right around the same amount, but there's a couple others that are way bigger. Jackery Pro, apparently, the one before this one is like a 46 decibels. That's crazy. Okay, so and before I get into dimensions and what I'd use it for and just the overall layout of things that are on each system, the biggest thing that what the DJI offers over these two is by far one of the coolest things, in my opinion, if you are a photographer or if you are working in, the content creation world, whereas this particular unit can actually charge the Maverick 3, the Air 3, and the Inspire 3, all of those batteries, they can actually fast charge onto their own product. That, to me, is really the game changer when it comes to being a portable power station and, working on the road or traveling for an event or being at if you're working as a drone pilot of some sort. The other thing that really sets apart the DJI than the other two is this guy right here. And this to me is something that I was like, I don't know if I believe in it. And then I tried it and I've used it. And I think it's like one of the coolest things ever. So I'll just show you guys real quick. This is just the case. This is it. And it's easily handles. And what's also really cool about it is you can now access all of the things in the front there. And because these systems need to breathe, because batteries need to breathe, etc. and so forth, you actually have vents right here on the side. Now there's another company that is up here, I'm not going to say which one it is. They actually pretty much copied DJI as soon as they came out with this, their own bag, and they were like, we can do a bag too. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I found it interesting. It's kind of funny. Now, this video is actually coming out right before the holidays, and that's obviously on purpose because they are going to be doing a Black Friday deal on the DJI power stations. You're going to want to check that out, and you're going to want to check out the links below so you guys can get yours at a discounted rate for the Black Friday deals. Okay, configuration. Now, we'll start on this side and we'll work our way across. Configuration of the EcoFlow. Now, I was kind of cool with this, and then I like realized I'm really not, but they have a section here, and I don't know if this is front or back, and then obviously on this side, same thing. So this is all the AC power, I believe. 12-volt port right there. It's kind of weird that you have to have it situated this way. You know, and all your AC, all your DC power, all your USB. So you got 4 USB type A's. You have 1 USB type C, or excuse me, two. Power button right there, and then obviously an easy read display. Now, if I plug stuff in, it would obviously tell me hours and everything else. What is kind of cool about the EcoFlow is they do have an app. So DJI and Jackery, I think you guys need to get some apps so I can control this. I can use it through, I believe, Bluetooth. I think I can control my Delta too. I think I can. I know they're bigger ones you can. Now, the size on the Delta 2 is very obviously narrow going across. We're gonna say about 9 inches. Obviously you saw me carrying it. It has the 2 handles on the side, and it is about 11 inches height. And from handle to handle, we're at 15.5 inches in length. There's a reason why I'm kind of giving the links here in a second, and I'm gonna get to that when I get to here. It's always up to the consumer, right? What do they want? If that works for your life, then so be it. I'm just here spitting out facts of what I think and how I feel. Obviously everything here is in the front. There is nothing in the back, and there are vents on the sides. That is it. Everything you need is on the front. How to charge it through your port is right there. In comparison to the EcoFlow Delta 2, it is right here underneath. There it is. That's your solar and your wall charger there. But again, that's the wall charger there, and this is solar here. The DJI comes with a lot of these cords, or you can get these cords, I should say. This actually is a charger. This is for like solar and whatnot. But what's really nice is, oh yeah, it has that bag that I can actually stuff all of these cords into. This cord right here, I talked about it already. It is even labeled with the Maverick 3 Air. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if it came into frame or not, but this is specifically for the Maverick 3 Air. What it would do is it would plug directly into, I opened up the wrong one, open into one of these, and then you can actually charge your Maverick Air, or you know, the Inspire, or the other one that I said. It's got 2 USB-Cs and 2 USB-As. Power button is up here. Okay. By the way, that ding noise is the same is on the on your drones. Anybody has a drone has that same 2 ports for your 120 volt. Now, I actually didn't know that. I actually looked that up real quick, but this is actually a 2,000 watt inverter. That's a beefy inverter on this thing. 2 ports for a 2,000 watt inverter. You could technically actually run an induction cooktop off of this. I could run a Brava oven off of this thing. And when I do an in-depth review, we're gonna test that. So stay tuned for that. EcoFlow Delta 2 has 6 ports. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. This is an 1800 watt inverter. Has 6 ports. A lot of things that I would run that I would actually trip that 1800 watts. So I wonder why they put 6 on here, but to each their own. I mean, maybe you want to plug in a bunch of things. I don't know if I'm out camping or out using this as a portable power station, whether or not I'm going to plug more than 2 in. You know, maybe people in the comments can actually let me know if they do plug in more than 2 things or 6 things, or I think the Jackery has 3. I don't know, maybe they add a 3rd. I don't know, but again, always up to the consumer. What's really nice about these USB-C ports, and I'll have to check on this USB-C port. The USB-C on the EcoFlow Delta is 100 watts, and the USB-C on the DJI is 140 watts. Why is that important? Because you can charge things like your MacBook or your laptop or things like that, where you're gonna need a high output for a USB-C, so it's a fast charger. A lot of people work on the road with their computers, 140 watt output, 100 watt output, and I have to look up what the USB-C on this is, a 30 watt, and there's another one on there for 100 watt. Then the USB-A is an 18 watt. So you guys can obviously tell there's a pretty distinctive difference, but both of the USB-C ports are 140 watt, and then your USB-As on this are 24 watt. and USB A's. They actually don't say it in here. Now, what I will have to ask DJI, and maybe they can also maybe even comment in this video, who knows? But what I would want to know is, can I daisy chain 2 of these together? If I had 2 1000 series, could I put another 1000 onto this to add that extra battery space? What the EcoFlow Delta 2 can do is it can daisy chain. That's what this thing over on this side is. You can actually put a battery extender onto this, which I have shown in the past and I've done in the past, but I would love to know if the DJI can do that, because right now this thing is, in my opinion, leading in a lot of categories. Size-wise, we're looking at slim, about 9 inches, same width as that right there. Length or width or whatever you want to call it, handle to handle, about 17.5, and height, we are at 9, give or take. So what did I say, 9 going across, roughly, 17.5, 9 going up and down. Why is that important, at least in my opinion? Because I have a decked draw coming in for my Ford Ranger Raptor. This can actually fit upright in a decked draw system. Decked draw system is a waterproof system. Really convenient. If I'm out camping, I don't want anything shown inside my pickup bed. I can throw this in my deck draw system. My deck draw can hold it weight-wise because it's only 28 pounds or whatever, 27 pounds. It can easily store in a water sealed. This might fit. I don't think this will fit upright. I'd have to lay it down, which I don't know how comfortable I am doing that, because it can slide around. All of these have obviously rubber feet on them, and they will not slide around very easily inside of a space. Now, in a draw system, maybe it won't slide around, but that's just my point. Now, I don't have the deck draw yet, but when I get it, I will test that theory out, so stay tuned for a video on that. Last, the Jackery. It's kind of the least of my favorite, because if I was to actually plug in stuff, and I can trip this very easily. It has a 1500 watt inverter built into this. It has a light. The other two do not have lights on it, and it has I think the least efficiency out of the USB A's. But again, we can turn that on, and the handle is built in a way where you can pick it up, and it is the lightest out of the 3, very slightly. I can't even feel really the difference. I believe it has a proprietary solar setup, and it has, so the solar input on it is kind of and then on the side is where you plug it into the wall, or your solar input right there, your DC input, and then there's nothing on the side and there's nothing on the back. So really, I just wanted to show the 3 differences between the 3 kind of, brands that are out there. There are a couple others that are out there, obviously, but these are some big names. This is a big name when it comes to, your drones or your action cameras or your Osmo Pocket, your little cameras there. So honestly, that's kind of why I switched over to DJI, was because they came out with this really rad power station that I can now go camping with. I can use in my rooftop tent in my truck. I can use it when I travel for all of the work that I do when I go to these events and shows. I can now have this power station that I can recharge with solar during the day very quickly. I can now charge all my camera devices, my batteries for my cameras, so I can then go out and work at these expos and events that I go to. And I know a lot of people that are watching this are the same way, or do the same things that I do. So like I said, make sure you check on the links below in the description for your own DJI Power 1000. I'll see you guys next time. Later.